Hello boys and girls, today we are taking a look at some cutting discs for angle grinders. These are designed for 4.5 and 5-inch angle grinders. First up we've got the Kutzall Shaping Disc here, which I bought for a specific project, which you'll see in an upcoming video if I ever get around to finishing it. As you can see, rather pricey. That's NZ dollars. So I got this from a place in Auckland called Carbotech, but I'll put a link down in the description if you want to get one from other places in the world. Really looking forward to using that. So we'll give that a quick test, but the full sort of review of that will be in another video. And I have these two here, which I'm looking forward to using as well. This one and this one are both from the same company, Graff. These ones have been sent to me, I didn't buy these. This one is for cutting wood, as you can see, just the 3 teeth. They work quite well, these blades, so we'll have a look at that, and I'm quite interested in this one. This is for metal cutting. It's a very light blade. It almost looks like it's aluminium. Surely not. This one is for cutting metal, angle iron, pipes, rebar, sheet metal, all that sort of stuff. These are said to last 80 times as long as your traditional cutting discs. So I don't think I'll be testing it that much to find out if it is as many as 80, but we'll give that a go through some rebar and some other metal that I've got laying around. We'll have a look. So let's go test them out without further ado. Any of these, if you're interested in more information, have a look in the description. I'll put some links down there. Let's go try them out. So to begin with, I just started cutting up some firewood. So I was just using this old pallet, trying to whack through it as quickly as possible, see if I could jam the blade or anything, which I managed to do just here. Boom. No kickback, huh? That looked like kickback. I guess it's technically kick forward because of the way you cut with one of these compared to a circular saw. But cuts very quick, as you can see. Bit of a bounce there. Doing it sort of one-handed, maybe not advisable, but it's real hard to video things on YouTube and not be in the way of the camera and stuff. Shaking my hand there to demonstrate that all the chips were flying straight into my hand, even with the guard there. My hand was just getting pommeled, and it actually was more uncomfortable than getting metal chips and stuff on you when you cut metal with an abrasive wheel. But it made quick work of that. And here, just seeing what sort of finish you'd get on a plastic pipe, and it was rough, like real rough. You wouldn't want to do it, to be honest. So it says it's good for cutting plastic pipe, in my opinion. Now just hacking through this hardwood chair here. This is what I see this tool as being perfect for, just demolition stuff where you don't have to be accurate, and stuff where you need to get into weird angles and stuff. Like these cuts here that I'm doing now, I mean that'd be a lot more difficult on a circular saw than it is just doing it with this. So handy for that sort of stuff. You can just flick it on any angle and whack through. And get into places that, like I say, you couldn't get in there with some other saws. Made short work of that chair. In this shot here, this is a wet piece of poplar trunk, it's fairly freshly cut down, and so I'm using it as a carving wheel here just to see how good it is at that. And it's not too bad. I mean, it's hard to get a smooth surface, being that it was wet, made a bit of a mess. Mind the sirens going past. Just trying a few different things here, just seeing how it cuts, what sort of finish it leaves, how quickly it removes material. It's pretty quick. Now here I am just trying to cut a straight line. Trying to cut an accurate straight line with this thing. Not easy. Not easy at all. It's not a precision instrument. And as I get to the end, I try and cut all the way through this piece of timber, which is 32mm, and you'll see what happens. Oh, kick forward. Anywho, trying to get all the way through that board, and it wouldn't cut that deep. If I didn't have the guard on, it would give me an extra couple of mil, but to use this tool without a guard would be pretty crazy, to be honest. It is not a safe cutting tool like the packaging says. It's quite, you know, of all the sort of wood cutting saws you can use, it's probably, we'll say second dangerous to a chainsaw. But yeah, it's certainly not a safe tool to use like it says on the packaging. So I was just slowly cutting here, seeing what sort of finish I could get on this piece of pine. Just seeing how hard it was to control, as you can see. With this Graff Black metal cutting blade, because it's a continuous rim and it's identical all the way around, you can flip it on your grinder either way. Don't have to put it on a certain way around, which it's late in the day and you're not concentrating. It's quite a handy thing. Unlike the wood cutting one, which of course has to go in that direction there. I'll now do some test cuts with it on camera with a comparison against these ones that I use every day. The Makita fast cutting ones, they're only 0.8 of a millimeter thick, so this should be able to beat this, I'm assuming. This is 1.5 millimeters thick, almost twice as thick. Graff also make another wood cutting blade. Instead of having teeth like this, it looks more like a segmented concrete cutting blade, and it's designed for finer cuts and cutting laminate and that sort of thing. But they didn't send me one of those, so I can't test that. Bum bum. Now in this comparison cut test, the one on the left is the Graff blade, the Graff Black blade. On the right, Makita fast cut abrasive blade. And I had some issues here, and instead of reshooting it, I thought, actually, that's quite a good test. You can see the one on the right bouncing there, and when it bounces, any little vibration, and it just chews up the disc. Well, you don't get that with the metal blade. It seemed to dampen the vibration much better, and if it did vibrate, you wouldn't destroy the wheel like you do on the abrasive ones. Yeah, when it chatters like that, you can see all the dust just pouring out of that wheel. It's just cutting up the wheel, disintegrating it, whereas the metal one did a better job of mitigating that. But it does get hot, not too hot. It says on the packet not to run it for more than 50 seconds cutting through something solid, so just gotta be careful you don't overheat the thing. But yeah, as you can see there, a lot of chatter, and when it does, bang, eats up the blade. So if you aren't supporting your work properly, like I wasn't, it makes a difference. With this, we're cutting through Corten steel here. It's about 2.5mm thick, 30mm wide. The one on the left is the standard abrasive wheel, the one on the right is the Graff Black. The abrasive wheel cut nicer, left a better finish, and was quicker, as you can see. One thing I noticed, which you just saw in that shot there, with the Graff blade, because it's sort of rounded, it slips off at the end it cuts. But it did a much better job of the plastic than the other blade. It's a far better finish. You could use that one to cut plastic pipes, but not the wood cutting one.
Much better than the other one.
There's two sort of different shapes to these things. You've got a flat, this is flat and convex shaping, and there's this sort of dish one. So you have this round one or a flattened round one. I figured the flat one just gave you a little bit more options. This is the coarsest one that they do. They'd have different teeth on them. First up impressions, if you're used to putting on discs on your grinder like this, oh, she's not the funnest thing to tighten up, so you might have to do it with that funny thing that comes with the grinder. Right, she's on. Also, depending on what size nut flangey doohickey you've got, you might have a bit of trouble getting it in there, because it only just fits, and I'm not 100% sure it's tightened down on the flats or whether it's touching this curved rim here. Anyway, it feels pretty tight. You'll notice there's no guard on there, not much use with a guard on it, so let's go give it a whirl. So with this one, we're back on that poplar again, and it's still wet. And I'm just testing it out here, just seeing what it feels like, and then just sort of grinding the bowl just to see how different it was to the other blade. Now it feels nice to use this. It's comfortable to use. It's not scary. Yeah, it feels nicer to use than the other two blades that I've just been using. But it's not as quick as I would like. Like I say, this is wet wood. Using it with wet wood, it will clog up the teeth a lot quicker than if you're using it on dry timber. But you can get a fairly good finish there compared to cutting with the Graff wood cutting disc. But I was a little bit disappointed here at the speed of material removal. I was hoping to just rip all this out. And I might need to try it again with a larger angle grinder, but that would be a bit cumbersome. So I was hoping to just use it on a 5-inch angle grinder, that's what it's for. But just didn't seem to tear out the material very quick. I spent about an hour and a half on this bit of material with both this Kutzall wheel and, as you can see now, the Graff wheel. So I used the Graff one just to compare to see how quick it was at removing the material. As you can see, much harsher. And I thought I'll just try and cut chunks of it out just to get rid of it quicker, so I can get this particular job done, which is a bird bath. So yeah, just trying a few little experiments here. Much coarser finish, as you can see, compared to the Kutzall. But they're different shaped tools. They both can be used for carving, but this one of course leaves a better finish. And this is the coarse one. I mean, you can get medium and fine ones after this, so you can get probably quite a smooth finish, I'd imagine. Because this left not a bad finish, but yeah, it did take a lot longer than I hoped. And I will finish it off with a sanding pad. Makes somewhat of a mess. I think I'm going to turn the camera off now, it's rather dusty. Okay, summary time. First up, the black disc, the Graff Black metal cutting wheel. I quite like this. It's good to be able to just keep cutting at the same diameter all the time, not losing your depth like you do with a traditional cutting disc, which disappears as you cut. So that's good. It's a little bit wider though now than what I'm used to, and it does leave a bit of a rough finish. You certainly need to come back with a grinder and, you know, take off all the burrs. It's a lot rougher than a thin cut wheel. But you don't end up with all the dust and smell that you get with a standard abrasive wheel, so that's a positive. But it's good that you can just leave it on the tool, because I do most of the things I do with an angle grinder is just cutting steel, and so it's good that you can leave it on and throw it in the back of your van. I mean, you throw these sort of ones in the back of your truck and it hits the edge and bang, you know, does that. So this at least has a bit of strength to it, so that's not going to happen, so it'll last a lot longer in that regard. It doesn't say anything about cutting stainless steel on the packaging, but I needed to cut something the other day, so I gave it a go, and let's have a look at that. And as you can see, it was a little bit slow compared to a fast cutting wheel, but it did the job fine. But yeah, like I say, a lot of burrs. But it's good that it doesn't throw nowhere near as many sparks. If you're in an area where sparks are an issue, then that's quite a good thing. The Graff wood cutting blade. Now this, I sort of have a bit of a, I don't know, love-hate relationship with it. I don't know what you want to call it. There's a lot of things on the packaging that I sort of don't agree with. Safe wood cutting with a grinder. Really? Safe? Is there any such thing as safe wood cutting? It's one of the least safe feeling tools I've ever used. Smooth cut. Really? Smooth? Okay. It's a hack tool. It's for grinding material away. It's for quickly hacking through stuff. It's not a precision tool. Anyone who's trying to sell it is that either hasn't used precision tools or is just really super good at this thing, which is a possibility. But it is safer than putting a circular saw blade on your grinder. The label's long gone. I have thrashed it. I've used it a lot just for hacking stuff up, and it's good for hacking stuff up like you might do with a reciprocating saw or something. It's good to not use your $100 flash blades on your circular saw or something to do it with. So I would buy one, but it's not going to give you precise cuts or smooth cuts or not jump around on you. It is, in my opinion, a demolition tool. Last but not least, the Kutzall Shaping Disc. Don't forget, down in the description I'll have links to all of these where you can buy them or find out more information. This thing is still got a heap of life left in it. It looks like it would last a very long time. It does the job. It's smooth to use, it's nice to use, it feels safe. It's a good solid product, but it isn't as fast as what I hoped it was going to be. But it's probably my favorite of the three, even though of course they all do different things. But if I had to pick just one, somebody said, here you go, which one of these three tools do you want for free? I would say that one. Even though I probably won't use it as nowhere near as much as I would use this. So yeah, it's a good tool, but yeah, just not quite as quick as I hoped. Thanks for watching, guys. Still got an angle grinder comparison video coming up. Had a few issues with it, but it'll be there one day soon, hopefully. Till next time, check out some of the other videos that'll pop up on the end of the screen here. If they don't, well, maybe your TV doesn't show them or your phone or whatever. But they're there for some people. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Till then, keep on grinding. Did I really say that? Keep on grinding. Oh dear.